Obviously, this is going to get sent to all of the guests. That's a joke. That's a joke. Bitch, get a life. Podcasting is really hard. We'll see. At least we can laugh at ourselves.
Okay, that was a joke. Live from LA, it's Scott Case.
Mrs. Pine, so happy for you to have me today. It's really an honor. Looking forward to getting after it today.
Fantastic. Also, why am I married in this? Why am I Mrs. Pine? I think I could be doctor. No, you seem really uncomfortable by that thought.
Yeah, it just rubbed me such the wrong way. I'm just a bit upset, actually.
Doctors rub you the wrong way? Have you had a troubled past with your
Doctors rub me the right way. You'd be surprised. Nothing like a good old prostate exam, gloves off,
You're my first male guest.
Wow.
How does that make you feel?
We're breaking gender barriers. One small step for Allie's podcast, one giant step for mankind. Put that in.
You just brought a lot of energy to the intro that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Hope them your marquee guests. My goal is just to be better than Nora.
Okay, so I think it'd be really interesting to sort of walk through our interactions with each other because they're pretty embarrassing for myself.
Yeah, you had the ball rolling here.
Okay, so the first time I remember interacting with you, well, remember is a very loose term because I was blacked out.
That's fair.
It was a Halloween night.
Oh, yeah.
One of the 18 Halloweens that we celebrated. And I don't remember what I said to you, but I had the feeling, I think I was coming on really strong.
Really strong.
Really?
Something to do with my belt. I forget exactly what it was, but it was just it had me, I was like, okay. Whoa.
You were like, whoa. Okay, actually, the belt, that I do remember the belt.
I was wearing a Borat costume, but I was wearing just a mankini and pants or something
Your go-to.
Yeah, just my Sunday's best, if you so to speak.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner attire.
Yeah.
And so I think you told me you were Borat because I asked what your costume was. Not that I was in a place to judge anyone's costume because I didn't really have one. I thought I was going as a magician's assistant, and then somebody painted my body, and that was my costume. Let's not really get into that here.
Yeah, that's for the next podcast.
Okay, so I think I was a little your pants don't go with your costume, and you were wearing a belt, and I think I was they don't match her outfit. You should probably take it off.
Yeah.
So you took it off, then you gave it to me. And this is really embarrassing. I wrapped the belt 2 times around your neck. You buckled the belt onto your neck. We were in the middle of plenty of people.
I think you're right. You went into pretty detail about the belt's position around my neck. I actually just don't remember. There was the night after in the cigarette basement, which you brought up, which I would have forgot.
Okay, yeah. And I came on strong again.
Yeah. Even harder, almost harder this time. You cornered me in the basement, and I was just like, Charlie Carter, my man.
This is so embarrassing. I thought I was never going to know you. This is going to make me sound really bad. Whatever. I was trying to get over someone. So I was like, I'm just going to really flirt with this person because I probably won't see him again.
Little do you know, you go to Georgetown, a school of 800 people.
And you're directly friends with any guy I'm remotely friends with at this point. So I really misread that situation.
The reason we're friends like this today is because you can talk, a lot of people wouldn't talk about it, which I actually respect about you.
Well, thanks so much. It's mostly I'm trying to talk about the bad things about me before other people can talk about them.
If you leave everything out there, then whatever happens.
Thank you. So I'm really trying. So then the next night happened and it was weird again. You were like, please leave me alone. And I was like, stop playing hard to get. Then I think we didn't really acknowledge each other for a while. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because for some reason, I don't think I saw you for a while.
Yeah.
Even if it did, it would have been in passing of anything.
It was just so weird. And I was like, Allie, I don't even know what you did, but it definitely was bad. Yeah. So just look straight ahead. Did I scare you?
I don't think scare is a word. It just came on strong, and I was just a bit taken aback, I'd say.
Yeah, that's definitely fair feedback.
Fear would be an exaggeration. It's more just kind of rattled almost. I wasn't super worried that you were gonna beat me up.
Well, just be careful, okay? Okay, I feel like the first time I remember like actually talking to like a normal functioning human was the sig up formal.
Oh, 100%. That the Uber back was actually a legendary.
You wore this like astonishing outfit.
Yeah, don't forget the Uber was a pivotal part in their friendship. That's when I was really like, because there was less of like the awkwardness because I was with Annabelle. And, like it just like it wasn't like you know what I mean. Like there was
Yeah, I wasn't coming on to you.
yeah, the Uber ride was like Allie's fucking like way over the top, and this is really funny.
Do you want to go into detail about it?
I know his name was Tariq. I
His name
remember that.
was Tariq.
I mean, you might know better than I do, but remember you just like really aggressively hitting on the Uber, just like kind of getting into his life story like in the front seat.
Yeah. That's pretty much like par for the course for me with like Uber drivers when I'm drunk. But this one was actually really special because what really gets me going is when they think I'm funny. And I feel literally unstoppable
Yeah.
when that's the case. Tariq and I were like getting into it. Kevin stole my phone. He like Snapchatted every single person in like my recent contacts. Should I hook up with Kevin? It was like having phone conversations with like my friends from home. And then I woke up to so many like missed calls and text messages from my friends from home, like asking for details. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
I didn't know the full extent of that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no. Do people think we have?
No, I was my initial guess was no, but like a story like that makes me like reconsider.
Wonder. Maybe we're not really friends. Would
Yeah.
you call us
I think
friends?
we're
Wait,
the
I
big
feel
word.
weird about calling you a friend.
Yeah, I think we have to work our way up there. Acquaintanceship sounds a little rolls off the tongue a little nicer.
Okay, yeah. Acquaintanceship rolls off. Okay. Do you
Yeah.
have a long tongue?
It's okay.
No,
Not really.
I have a very long tongue.
Prove it. No way.
Yeah, it's super long, and I can even put it in my nose. Are you okay with me doing that?
Are viewers okay with that?
Everybody, just in case you feel uncomfortable, I'm going to penetrate my nose with my tongue on the count of 3. Ready? Oh, wait, I have to count. 1, 2, 3.
Jeez.
Yeah, salty. Okay, so,
Have you seen the mustache? Like I don't know if you're
oh yeah, I actually have a couple questions I prepared about the mustache. Okay, well, they're going to be a larger segue into like our topic for this podcast, which is environmentalism.
I think I saw on LinkedIn you're doing research for like GU Sustainability Office, and I was like, oh, like that's cool. And like, what's up?
Yeah, I want you to share with the class why you're interested in this.
All right. Well, like I don't mean to come off as too cliche. At the very like base of it, just like goes like my dad and like growing up around nature. Like I don't know, he'd always like make an effort to like go to national parks like Yellowstone, Yosemite. So like, that's like instilled a love with the nature. Then like the second part, like the more like mundane like educational aspect, kind of came senior year of high school. I took ABES, and like that turned out to be like the favorite class I took in high school. It was kind of interesting to get like why they're important to society or like what actual value of it and stuff. Like I think climate change, in my opinion, the pressing issue of our generation. I don't know, it's just so interconnected that you can't really get away from it. I've grown up pretty conservative, and I'd still say my beliefs align conservative, and something that I've been really frustrated with is that how it's become such a bipartisan issue. And I think it's just like it's almost common sense in my opinion. Without an environment, like humans will actually go extinct.
Yeah, no, that was super good. And I don't think it's cliche the way you got involved with it because I need to remember to breathe on this podcast. So
Yeah.
basically,
Can they see my sweaty palms, or is that
okay, yeah. So basically, that's completely different than my answer. I feel like I didn't really understand the environment. My family is also very conservative, but I'm like the least conservative one to the point where like my brother just yells at me for being a liberal all the time. So that's that's always super.
I think I have a similar relationship with my sister, even though I don't even agree with what I say.
I did the learning piece of it. I'm going to sound really annoying here, but on my gap year, mixed in with the backpacking trip, there was a environmentalism and like conservation movement curriculums. As we were learning all those things, we were living in like the wilderness basically, and we got to see how a land designation worked in different countries, and I just thought that was so fascinating. And then I always loved the ocean, but I didn't really realize that I could turn that into something more substantive than just like a place to relax.
Mm-hmm. What's it like living in like a national park, or like how was that like experience for you? Like I'm actually curious, I guess, in that sense.
So in the US, we lived on BLM land, which is like Bureau of Land Management. That's sort of like I mean, it's beautiful, but in the eyes of the government and how much attention is paid to it, it's sort of like a wasteland.
I'm somewhat familiar. Like I know how
Yeah.
it's like multi-use land and like logging and like
Yeah.
I'm somewhat familiar.
Yeah. Okay. So we were living in canyons in Utah. We were in the Rockies in Colorado. And then after that, we went to Chile and Patagonia. And that was really interesting because
Jeez, that's a lot of travel.
yeah, it was like three months. So it was kind of spread out.
Mm-hmm.
Chile's governmental structure around national park stuff is just so different from what the US has, to the point where their national parks are completely privatized. But basically, just sort of like these climber CEOs of these outdoor companies were buying up plots of land in Patagonia and turning them into private national parks. And so that was super interesting because now they're sort of starting to bridge the gap between these private national parks and the Chilean government to create a more substantial ecotourism industry. But there's so much pushback from the locals because buying up all that land takes away the territory from like gauchos, which are the like South American cowboys, and it's basically like completely threatening their old way of life. And it's sort of just like white people coming in again and like ripping that away, even though it's like actually better for the environment. So, but is it actually better for the culture? There's like all those questions.
The plans fell through after the coronavirus stuff happened, but I was about to hike like a few hundred miles the Appalachian Trail with my dad after freshman year. So
That's so cool.
at some point I'm gonna have to do that. I was thinking, I had a crazy idea. If Georgetown goes full online, I want at least one person to do it with me.
Okay.
Just defer the online semester or something, and then just hike the Appalachian Trail in the fall.
No, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, actually, I just thought about it. Like, I actually can't, because if you get to Maine in winter, you'll actually die.
What if you started in Maine?
Actually, maybe. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It actually might be possible, but I read a book about it, and it sounds so cool. Put that on a short list of books to read.
Walk in the Woods.
It's
Okay.
like Bill Bryson. He's like a super funny travel writer, but it's also super like substantive and like pretty cool.
Okay, I want to read it now. Thank you.
But the Appalachian Trail is like America's. If you're gonna hike any trail big, like that's got a lot of like name. Like not that I do it for clout, but like Appalachian Trail has like recognition.
Feel more inclined to hike the PCT because the book Wild or the movie Wild. But I see what you're saying about the Appalachian Trail because it's sort of like the most well-known, like the holy grail of trails in America.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of really cool sort of like institutions along the way. Like there's tons of cool like restaurants and gear shops.
I do it for the gear shops. You're so right.
Okay.
I know what you mean. I'm just fucking with you.
No, it's good. It's good. The people will love it. So
yeah, make sure that one stays. That was funny.
Okay. I know you're in the business school. This is obviously a big question, like what you're doing after college.
Yeah, I guess just something that involves like business and like whatever that might mean, a finance or consulting or some type of career, but also like intertwines like sustainability, like financing for renewable projects or like environmental consulting, bringing like certain passions in the environment to like that career without like, quote unquote selling your soul. Think that's like a non-negotiable is doing something that's like environmentally positive. Whatever happens from that is like whatever happens.
Right. You have LA vibes. It's actually interesting. I think if you here I am just pontificating on something I very much know little about, but I think your personality mixed with growing up in like the chill West Coast vibes is like a very good combination. Because you seem like you're very driven. I'm going to pump myself up. I think I also have it. Comes out in different ways. Sometimes in frat basements, but it's
Here's energy.
Right. But I think it was just like exacerbated to such a poor extreme space growing up the way I grew up. I have like a new understanding of the importance of sense of place for myself. Like I think I need to be on a beach in a place that's not as like high strung or so focused on like money, because I think I get like, I don't know. Is this making any sense?
You know what you're saying? Like the city I grew up in is like one of the wealthiest cities in like probably America, and like as I'm like about to leave it, like it's just interesting to think about like what really matters.
Yeah. I feel like the way I grew up, and I think this feeds into why I didn't really have an appreciation for environmentalism until later, like until I left where I grew up, because I sort of thought there was only one way to like live a life. But it was eye-opening, and that's when I started getting into environmentalism stuff, because I realized that like there's more.
Yeah, it's a kind of super. This is actually way too cliche of me, but like, it's like you can have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing. Like I don't know, like I don't think like the careers I'm looking at, I'm not gonna have to like work for like minimum wage or something like that, but I can still do it like what gives fulfillment.
Right. That sentiment, I think, is something I really want in a career and out of life. That's part of why I like the podcast, because I'm able to just talk about really embarrassing things I did, like coming on to, or like, I don't know, but then also at the same time talk about something that I think is really intellectually interesting and have them like merge into one space.
No, it's like work hard, play hard,
Yeah, but I find like it brings me a lot of peace to be able to like have both sides of myself not competing with each other, but sort of
100%. Like you don't take yourself too seriously, but like at the same time, when you need to like perform, like you perform, or like I don't know if perform is the right word, but like
it's very like a masculine word.
Yeah, it does sound oddly sexual. When you
You
need
kind of
to,
sound like you're doing like a Viagra commercial.
yeah, when I need to perform, I need to perform. Thanks to Viagra. Are we gonna get in the mustache now? I've even.
Yeah. Sorry, I made you late. Okay. So what I was gonna ask you, if you talk to the people, the class, my fans, a little bit about your mustache.
All right, so dyeing your mustache is from what I've heard is a personality trait. So, Ash, you stay upstairs.
I just need to get some food.
Just stay upstairs.
No, she can't get the food. Hi.
Don't cut this out. What are you getting?
My volleyball, and you can't have any, dick. Look, I'm not. You piss me off. You don't want to put me downstairs.
Scott's getting absolutely roasted by his sister. Food's not the only thing getting cooked in the kitchen.
Oh, jeez. That's kind of work.
Who is that? I'm sorry for being so rude, but I'm really being really annoying.
No, I like you. You're putting him in his place. It's good.
All right, back to the mustache. So
Okay.
It grows in pretty thick, but like super blonde, and it's to the point where like it gets kind of disrespected, like I'm sick and tired of like all 2 months of hard work into being blonde.
And do you dye your eyebrows too?
No,
They're the same color.
I know, that was kind of the goal because it looks.
Your mustache just looks like a large eyebrow.
Yeah, actually, I've heard it before. It actually kind of does.
Yeah.
If I look at it closely, like it does. There's like a third eyebrow.
It does.
I think that's a good thing. It's probably a compliment, right?
For sure. It's the best compliment I know how to give.
Do you dye your mustache?
I actually only dye my armpit hair.
That was a perfect response.
But only the right armpit, the left armpit hair, I want to keep it natural. So people can know how far I've come.
Yeah, true. So like you keep a base, but like, it's like, I'm also like, I'm quirky, I do things differently.
Exactly. I have to know where I came from and also where I'm going.
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay. So imagine there is an alternate universe. There is a woman who is you, and you have a menstruating vagina.
Understood. Could you please go into extreme detail about it?
You look so uncomfortable. Do you want me to walk you through the options? Okay, so there's disposable.
I didn't get a chance to answer that. We're walking through the options? Okay.
You're not being interviewed here, okay? I am just talking at you and for you.
Yeah. Okay. This is not an interview. This is a monologue. Get the fuck out.
Okay, so basically you can use like disposable goods like tampons, pads. Pads are gross. Don't use them. If you do, you probably have like a weird diaper rash. There's also things called Diva Cups. Do you know what a Diva Cup is?
I don't.
I'm gonna blow your environmental mind. So it's basically like this little plastic like thing, and you like twist it and like put it inside of your vagina, so it reduces the environmental impact because you're constantly reusing that. Mm-hmm. So my question is, would you like do that if you were a woman for the environment?
At the end of the day, it boils down to is there like intense level of pain associated with like jamming a Diva Cup inside of like?
First time I tried to take it out, I couldn't get it out. I thought it was gonna be in there forever.
Yeah, it's actually still in there. The viewers earmuff, but
yeah. So I mean, it's pretty enter at your own risk. I will say that.
I think I'd give it I would lean towards that. I'd give it a try, like the Diva Cup, but like at the end of the day, like at a certain point, if it's just excruciating, I'm just gonna take the L on that. It's probably like putting on contacts, which is worse.
Oh my gosh, that's a really interesting. So, do you think being a woman is like needing to wear glasses?
Yeah, like being a woman is a disability.
Go ahead, see how many people you can offend. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask another question, and it was gonna be really good, and I forgot what it is.
That's so embarrassing. As the host, that's really embarrassing for you.
This is the most embarrassing I've ever been in my entire life. Okay.
So I always think we have common interests and we have common friends, but it takes something like this to like go past acquaintanceship, you know?
Right. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it really does.
And now, would you say by the end of this podcast, we've moved into friends?
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
All it
Ladies
takes
and
is like
gentlemen.
the better part of like an hour to really become friends with me. I'm pretty easy, so.
Oh, you're pretty easy?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous before recording this. Were you nervous?
I mean, I thought we were gonna have a good conversation. Like I wasn't super like I tend not to get too nervous with this stuff. Just let it happen naturally. Like if you overthink it, it's only gonna make it sound like more robotic.
You sound so annoying right now.
Okay, fuck you. I'm being serious.
Okay. Well, Scotty boy, Scotty Pippen.
Scotness monster.
The Scottness monster.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for just being a dude.
Let the boys be boys, Mrs. Pine.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad we already want to have a good conversation.
It was great conversation. Your sister made the show. So.
Oh, no, I was worried that would happen, but all my fears came to fruition real quick when she went down to heat up that Chipotle bowl. Fuck.